every single person that shows up there and every single person that's there has an incredible story of resilience. The things that they're asking their bodies to do is above and beyond extraordinary. That's what the Paralympic movement stands for, is just the sheer determination of the human spirit.
In July 2008, the sporting world convened in China for the Summer Paralympic Games in Beijing. Athletes with impairments had been competing in Paralympic sporting events since World War II, and for years the Paralympics had followed the Olympics in the same host city, but never had they garnered this much attention. The Beijing Games set a new standard.
We will be part of the creation.
For one man, this was a dream fulfilled, the culmination of a long, hard-fought fight.
The key thing was to empower individual athletes to do their own thing, and we had to create stages upon which they could perform.
But getting somebody who has the ability to press the button and say, we'll do it, was the key to it.
Out of a tragic injury, this leader would rise and force change on a global scale. As a young boy growing up in Bolton, England, Philip Craven had a natural affection for sport.
When I saw the first cricket test match on TV when I was 4 years old, that bug for sport started to grow, and then I loved playing cricket, particularly with my father and my brother, then tennis and swimming and those sorts of sports.
In 1966, at age 16, he went rock climbing with friends.
And it had been raining and there was a little bit of a stream coming down this climb, which was a severe climb. And my friend said, "Oh no, we're not going up there." I said, "Oh, come on." Got to the top of the climb where there was what's called a chalk stone, which is a big rock wedged in a crack. So hand up, pull on it, the whole thing came out. I went down, blacked out, and the big brass nuts that I'd put in didn't save me.
His back was broken. His spine had been severed, and he was placed in a spinal injury unit. For 8 weeks, Philip lay in a hospital bed trying to imagine what his future would hold. And from that vantage point, he found his inspiration.
I saw wheelchair basketball being played outside my window, so something sank into my head. It's the mind that needs to be freed again if it's been imprisoned by the accident or the illness or whatever it is. And so you need some vehicle to do that.
As Philip watched from his hospital window, new possibilities opened up. Wheelchair basketball became the outlet Philip needed to train and improve himself as an athlete.
And I'm paralysed from around just below my chest. So even sitting in a chair is a difficult thing because you don't have the sitting balance, because that comes from your stomach muscles and your lower back muscles. So you have to develop compensation techniques for that to happen. So you just never stop learning with wheelchair basketball. And I was pretty good at it.
At the time, wheelchair basketball had been around less than 20 years. The sport had been created by World War II veterans with spinal injuries. But the natural forces of competition eventually took hold. In 1960, wheelchair basketball was featured as part of the first Paralympic Games, an extension of the Olympic Games in Rome, featuring international athletes with impairments. In 1968, Philip joined a wheelchair basketball team at the University of Manchester and became known for his boldness both on and off the court. Competing in both the 1972 and 76 Paralympics for Great Britain, Philip was outspoken about the old classification system that placed parasport athletes in different categories. The system was designed to even the playing field, but it wasn't working.
The system, when I started playing, was non-existent. Well, it was existent, but it was terrible. And it was developed by medical doctors who had no idea about the sport of wheelchair basketball.
Philip argued the old system limited some players while giving others an unfair advantage.
So you've got to make it fair. And that's, in fact, what I started to fight for.